This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
This is like turning into my favorite episode of the year. And that's really unfair because we've had amazing guests on. And this year it's no different. But last year we had a little fun at the end of the year. And Nicole Miller, who joins me again. Hi, Nicole.
Hello. Happy to be back.
We were like, hey, Ryan, maybe flip the script here. Let Nicole ask some questions, which is very cool. And I think it was a good year in review. And this year, not only is Nicole here, but in the spirit of having the think lead, not just the feel lead and the do lead. And if you don't know, think, feel, and do, knowledge, faith, and action. You need all three for it to be a courageous move. That's how we describe it in our business. I have my other business partner here as well, Billy Collins. What's up, Billy?
What's up, Brian? I'm glad you finally let me on here. I'm excited to be a part of this. This is going to be great.
To be clear, it was not my idea. Nicole's like, come on, let Billy on this show.
We gotta let him in. Come on, it's end of the year. Give him a little gift.
True. That's true. Let's be real. Yeah, this can all be cut. If at some point we decide not to do it, no one will know. So it's all good.
All right.
No, excited to finally bring some think to this podcast. So.
Again, so the way we describe our business, again, there's a knowledge gathering side. That's always phase one. Billy leads that. Billy, can you like super quick?
Yeah.
Like, well, where'd you come from, and why do you?
Where'd you come from? Yeah, so I think Ryan and I have known each other since we were 7. At the time, I don't think he would have said that I should be running knowledge anything. But since then, have had a lot of traditional schooling. Got my MBA. Worked in brand management at Johnson & Johnson for a number of years. Really being passionate about consumers and being passionate about understanding how to use data to make decisions. And so when Ryan and I reconnected as I left J&J to go run marketing at a startup called Soapbox Soaps, that's when we began this courageous journey together. And it has been a blast for the last 4 or so years. Excited to continue to help companies, help people understand what it means to know yourself and know you're special. And that's really what I think is the core on the knowledge side. And I've seen that in many different ways.
I'm happy you're here, man. Yeah. And the last time, let's see here, the last time we played basketball together, we actually shot I think was 1986, 84.
I was going to go in the 90s.
Yeah, 90s. No, 90s. Last time we played would have been when we were working there at camp, mid 90s, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't on the bench that much. I wasn't. Yeah, ahoy there.
All right, people. I'm sure you're like, where is this going? So here was the idea for our end of year episode. We're taking a cue from the guys at Smartless, which we just love, and each of us has a mystery guest that we're going to bring into the mix one by one. And again, the reason of even sharing that knowledge, faith, and action, we're going to start with Billy on the think side. He's going to bring in his guest. Here's the deal, guys. I think you'll introduce your guest. You'll get the first question. The guest then gets the next question, followed by whoever's next in line. So, for example, if it's my guest on the faith side, it'll go to the guest, my Mr. Guest, and then it'll go, after we answer that question, it goes to our action lead, Nicole Miller, and then it goes back to knowledge for Billy, just to keep it light and moving around. So really it's 4 questions, right? And again, hopefully each of the guests is prepared with their question. In the spirit of just kind of like teasing a little bit, I'm curious, you guys both know the guest I'm bringing on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
okay.
Okay.
You guys know the guest I'm bringing on. I thought that was part of the rules.
Yeah, it's part of the deal, right? You definitely have some a knowledge of who I'm bringing on.
Okay. I wasn't sure Billy was doing that. I think Billy was like going to bring on anybody he wanted that we didn't know. But now it sounds like,
hey, listen, you open Pandora's box by bringing me on here, Ryan. You never know what you're going to get. So I try to keep it loose.
All right. Well, I'm excited. Okay, let's get into it. Billy, you have the first guest, correct?
That is correct. Yes. So I'm really excited to bring my first guest on. He is
It's a he. It's a
similar.
he.
It is a he. It is a
Gave
he.
it away.
I've given that away. Um, he has literally traveled the globe trying to understand consumers better. Has led a number of iconic brands that you've heard of, and knows how to clean your teeth, knows how to take care of a baby,
Mm.
right? Knows how to really make sure you are protected from the sun with a number of different products. Um, he then departed from sort of the traditional and went and is running marketing at a place that is treating food as nutrition, is really helping people with really deep dietary needs. How are they going to be able to make a better life? And the reason I wanted to bring this person on, we had our first child at a similar time in life. And he was the first person as a leader who really embraced what it meant to be a dad. And as someone who worked for him, helped me understand the need to unplug, as well as the responsibility of, being that, you know, parent leader in corporate America. How do you balance some of those things, as well as how do you take the time that you need to make a difference? And I think that showcased his leadership in really caring about the people that have worked on his team, and that's a consistent for who he is. So, without further ado, Rick Ely. It is Rick Ely. So
Yes. What's up, Rick?
very
Let's
exciting.
bring him on.
There he is. I could try again.
There we
Yes.
go.
Are you
Dun, dun,
surprised?
dun. I am surprised. I think I did get it that it was you, but I was like, does Nicole know Rick? Did Nicole ever meet Rick?
You didn't get to me yet. Nice to meet you.
So of you, because our friend Billy talks about you often and he references you, so I feel like I know you, but now it's great to be formally introduced.
Yeah, nice. I bet you were thinking he would bring one of his famous friends like Scott Schoenweiss or Chris Capital or something
There,
like that
there we go.
podcast.
Rick with the deep cut from the Duke baseball team, bringing out some of the classic guys I played baseball with down at Duke. Good job, Rick. Good job, man. Way to bring that up. Rick is we have a constant text back and forth about the immaculate grid, which I have told both Nicole and Ryan about. And Rick is the person who's introduced me to that. He also introduced me to the Twilight books, like I mentioned, right? Like it was really, Rick is my cultural plug-in.
We bonded.
Mm.
We're both Team Edward, I remember. We bonded over that.
Yes, definitely Team Edward. Definitely Team Edward. So, Rick, listen, thanks so much for joining us on this. I think, as you know, we've got a couple questions that we're going to ask. Hopefully, you have a question for us. In your intro, I mentioned the fact that you've literally traveled the world in pursuit of the consumer, and have left J&J and now gone to Kate Farms. And so, my first question for you is, which one felt like a more courageous move, when you left the United States with your family and you went to Singapore and took them to go run marketing over there for J&J, or leaving after 15-ish years, right? Leaving J&J, established big company, to go to run marketing at a more of a startup, even though they're about 100 million in business. They're not really a startup, but that change. Which one felt more courageous for you when you made the move?
Yeah, thanks, Billy. It's a good one. I hadn't thought about those two big life choices. In reflection, I think the Singapore move, I was a little bit earlier in my career. My family was small. That was 10% scary and 90% exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Really looking forward to the chance to learn and do something different and live in a new place and have those experiences with my young family. My choice 2 years ago to leave big corporate J&J after 18 years and come to a small growth company with a great momentum, but still a lot to prove. That to me was a heck of a lot scarier, because I could foresee seeing out the rest of my career with some great experiences and healthy comp and good work-life balance, at big company. It's a very known, I could see that future. I knew what was coming.
Yep.
And there were far more unknowns with this small experience. And so that felt like a bigger change. And I've shared with you before, I'll share with the others, my first week, my first month felt like I was dropped in the middle of a freezing cold ocean. I mean, it was incredible anxiety and uncertainty. And I went from knowing everything and being the man to knowing nothing and being totally unproven. And that was really, really tough, but battling through it. And I'm super excited that I've made this choice. I've learned so much.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten to do things I never would have had the chance to do it at my other employer. So
Yeah.
good question.
Tell me, I want to follow up before you get into your question. You said looking back, it made a lot of sense. Any advice you would give to yourself when making that choice about why it was worth jumping in the ocean, as you said?
I think it likely fits with a lot of the values that the three of you are communicating and believing in, is that courage can be tough, but whether you have a huge success or once in a while a huge failure, you learn and you grow. And that sharpens you and helps you get better and smarter for the next choice. And more often than not, I think there always are things that you can look at that are productive and positive, and you can build off of those. And so the advice I would give myself and other people that are considering choices in their career is that that discontinuity, that doing something different, it rewards and it yields positive outcomes, whether they're exactly what you thought or not. And if not, you build from there and you control the narrative.
Yeah. Excellent.
Rick, we right before you came on, we talked about the OG plan was whoever brings the guest on gets asked the first question.
Okay.
And then we were gonna turn it over to the guest to ask a question, and then our little model is knowledge, faith, and action equals courage. So then I would ask you the next question after you, and then Nicole would take us home. But we're open minded here, new company, we're gonna be flexible. Do you want to go last, or do you want to ask the next question? This is not my question, guys. By the way, it doesn't count.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll go last. I'll go last.
Okay. All right. So I'm jumping in on the faith side. So first of all, it's a two-parter, shock. Did you move the family?
We did. Ryan, have you been to Singapore before?
I have not been to Singapore.
So one piece about this, it's on the opposite side of the world, but it's an extremely well-developed nation in which there are three main languages and one of them is English. And so everything is safe, clean, easy to navigate. Everybody speaks English. All the signage is English. So sort of the secret is, while it's a big, scary move, you feel like you're moving more to a major metropolitan area in the US than going to Asia.
Mm.
And the beauty of being there is that the abundant resource in Asia is people. And so you have people that live in your home and take care of your kids and cook your meals, and it's a pretty high quality of life.
So I was going to ask.
And your wife, Tracy, sorry, real quick, right? And your wife, Tracy, moved with you too, right? So that was a big opportunity for both of you. We asked Tracy to be on the podcast first, and she said no, so we got Rick. But, but I know that the two of you both, right? It was a professional move for both of you to be able to do that. So maybe speak a little bit about how that dynamic went and how those conversations shaped what you were able to learn and take away from your time there.
I want to make sure I get a chance, give Ryan a chance to ask this question. But again, the living internationally was the best thing that I ever did. I learned, I went from being sort of in the dominant ethnic group in the US to being in the minority. I was different. I had to try and understand everyone else. I had to figure out how to communicate. My job was working with all the different countries in Asia and different cultures and trying to learn how consumers saw brands and made decisions and what was important to them and how I could work with the different people within our company. Again, it's the experience of going somewhere where you're not comfortable and forcing to be stretched and forcing to put yourself in a new position where I learned so much. And my wife was doing the same. She also worked for Johnson & Johnson, and she was also doing a marketing role there. So for us, it worked out great.
So I was going to ask you, you talked about jumping in this cold new ocean,
Yeah, man.
and like nobody, nothing,
Yeah.
you know plenty, but you know nothing about the brand and this consumer, and not as much as you want. So I am still very curious how where your mind went,
Yeah.
how you controlled like not letting your mind run rampant on you,
Yeah.
but, and so you can answer this question too. This is my way of sneaking in a second
A
question.
second.
Rick.
There you go.
What I'm really curious about, I think it's a really, it seems like a tricky time in the world. And
Yeah.
you've now had a chance to go everywhere. We got 2 wars that are going on.
Yep.
I'm curious, and this is as the field guy, I got to ask, not the data, not on consumers, but on people. Where do you believe, from what you've seen now with your own eyes, are we more alike than not as people? And we just are like, wait, we're more like because this, that, or the other, and maybe where are we not more like too? I'm curious on your answer on both of those.
Interesting. That's a thoughtful question. I'm going to approach it as the marketer and business person. And I think the things where there is strong consistency is that at the core, I have experienced that most human beings and consumers share some similar basic values that as a business person you can build off of. We want health. We want personal security. We want products that are going to make us feel good. Pretty universally too, we want products that have values that we believe in and align to. We're also willing to pay more for products that we have value, that we value, and we are now looking for things that are new and different and feel relevant in this moment. Those things I saw and I believe are consistent across all cultures and people. Some of the ways that they're expressed are different. Again, to take it away from like macro societal stuff, but keep it in marketing. One of the things that I've experienced that is the most unique by culture and people. So you're asking, where are we the most different? Where are we the most different as a marketer? One of the things that I've found that is crazy different is humor. To use in your marketing communications, how do you use humor to tell a story, talk about a brand, create an interesting piece of content? That's one piece that I've found has been incredibly local. And interestingly, even across markets and sort of a clustered group, like in Southeast Asia, where you have countries that I would perceive as an American, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, all countries like that, they're very, very similar in all of the statistics, etc. The role of humor in communications and culture is wildly different. And so that's one part that I think as a business person you need to think about. How does that or sort of maybe other emotional ways that you bring brands to life? How do you do that in a way that really resonates?
Sounds like I would blow it like 90 countries. Like I'm out. Like, I'm gonna just stay right here in America. Stay here in America for me.
No way, no way. I think if you go there with your open mind and you authentically say, I want to learn. And the other thing that I've found is lean right into the stuff that you don't understand and lean hard into the things that have a bit of an edge to it. So if you go right at it and you ask people in a way that is genuinely seeking to learn, not passing any judgment, that's where some of the best sort of conversations that I had.
Love that answer.
Feels like a good way to approach a new job too, right? Like
For sure.
all right, Miller, all you.
Well, I'll kind of maybe take it from where we just kind of ended. So from like everything that you have experienced and learned to date, if you could teach the world one thing, what would it be? It could be a skill, an idea, a concept. Take your pick.
No
teach the
pressure.
world? This is. I love these questions, but they feel very high pressure. I thought we were going to talk about TikTok and marketing and social media.
These are all going to be
High
clipped
pressure,
down
that's
on
us.
TikTok. We're going to clip all these down onto TikTok. Rick, don't worry.
Yeah, I would build off the spirit of some of the other ones and um, encourage everyone everywhere, especially in what I think the backdrop of what we are experiencing in the U.S. is have your first instinct seek to understand before judgment.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that with a better understanding and a better effort to try and put context and perspective into what you hear, that would be interesting.
It's very cool.
I
I
love
think, Rick,
that.
like one of the things that I know I joke about the Twilight books, but it's interesting to hear you make that recommendation because at the heart, that's what we were trying to do, right? We were trying to understand what it was like to be a teenager in 2009
For sure.
because we were
For
not
sure.
teenagers. And this idea of building understanding for your employees, understanding for your team, your coworkers, what they're going through beyond just work, as well as understanding the consumer. If we all had that mindset, I do think
Yes.
things would be much more positive because we would begin with that desire to understand instead of that desire to judge.
Yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of and I love this saying that, most people listen with the intent to respond versus with the intent to understand.
Yeah.
And I think if we can all move toward like listening to understand versus just listening to respond, like what am I going to say? What am I going to say next? I think it, we'd evolve to a good place. That's for sure.
Love it.
It took me to tell me what movie this is. You mock what you don't understand.
Ooh.
Come on, guys.
And I know it.
And we're usually really good at this game.
Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
Do-
Elf?
Doctor? Doctor? Doctor?
Oh,
Doctor?
eh,
Doctor? Doctor?
Catch Me If You Can.
No, no.
You
Then
concur.
Spies Like
Chase?
Us.
I concur.
Spies.
Spies like us,
Spies
bro.
like us.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Guys like us. It takes courage to try to answer a question
Okay.
like that on the
To-
Courageous podcast.
To be fair, the doctor quote. I'm pretty sure that Leo DiCaprio says doctor when he is in Catch Me If You Can too. I think.
Okay.
Do you concur, Doctor?
Do you
I
concur?
concur.
We're
Yes.
spiraling. We're spiraling off
Yes.
topic.
All right. Let's go.
Brian, the
Rick.
unfortunate part is that my
Let's go.
role, my team are people that are very early in their career. And I will bet you $100 not one of them has seen that movie or would know.
I will tell you that I thought exactly about because where I was going also where I thought you were going a little bit was like it's funny how what's old is new, like Stranger Things. Like Stranger Things
Right,
is
right.
cool because it took us back to a different time.
Yeah, for sure.
You're like, oh, right, and I'm sure brands love that too. See, here we go. We've got a the my mystery guest has already showed up. Did you guys see the name?
Oh, I did not.
No.
I did not. But Rick has to
Good.
ask his question of
Okay.
us.
Yes.
This can be a quick hitter because I know you have other people you want to
No,
talk to.
all good. Let's do it.
As you know, I'm coming from big corporate CPG, and I've now been in a growth, digital first, digital only, digital native environment for the last 2 years. And we're getting more and more courageous with our use of the media. I have a person now who's doing organic TikTok for us. She's a community manager on my team, and there is no approval or oversight to what she posts. So she will grab a middle of the day meme and just throw our product up against it and go. And that to me was courage. But I want to know from each of you, because I really value your broad and external perspective. What would be one tactic, medium, type of content, something you're seeing other brands doing in a consumer facing way, something they're doing, which you would encourage me to have courage in 2024 and add to my marketing plan. Something new, something that maybe all the data hasn't proven out yet, and it's the right time to be courageous and go for
I'm thinking a chief humor officer for Singapore TikTok videos. Go all in on it. 2 hands,
it.
push it all in on that.
I mean, first, Rick, I would say that it's a great sense that you are doing that on TikTok. I think the reality of even 15 years ago, we talked about, hey, we have to start doing these things on social media, which means we're letting go of control as brand leaders, brand managers, whatever. I think finding ways to have not influencers, but people with influence or affiliates who could truly partner with your brand, who can create their own content. So it's not just about the one person. It becomes a broader set of people who can represent, or there may be consumers in your, and that, again, I've seen some folks, some companies do this, where it is, here's maybe our closest in, most loyal consumers, and let them tell the stories, but know that there's some relationship there. There's some partnership there beyond just, hey, make a video for us and we'll put it up on TikTok. So think about how you develop that as an actual partnership or relationship.
Okay.
Again, not because they have huge influence with millions of followers, but because they've really been impacted by one of your products and their life is different. Okay, great. You can tell that story way more effectively. And how can we partner with you on that?
Interesting. I like it.
I think taking kind of a cue from the Liquid Death brand playbook, if you will, I think doing things that are really like being unapologetically yourself. And I think if you have a very, very clear understanding of what your brand values are and who you are as a brand, I think just fully stepping into that is takes courage, and I don't think everyone's willing to do it, and I think they do it extremely well from every angle. And I think even the social media example you referenced, it's something, as long as everyone is clear on who we are, this is what we sound like, it's easy to give people autonomy to say, try this tactic, try this, because at the end of the day, it's through the lens of those values. And so, like, and even if it doesn't work and it falls flat, at least we can all say, hey, at least we tried it and it was aligned with who we are. And you learn from that and you grow and you try something else. I think that's the beauty of the digital space, is like, you don't have to necessarily you don't have to have it figured out. It's like you put something out in the world and like people will tell you, right? Like people will tell you if they like it, if they don't. You'll see what has more engagement, and that gives you something to learn from for future things that you do. So that's probably my answer.
Cool. Thank you.
I mean, I'm kind of building on Nicole's here, but as uncomfortable of what I'm about to say, I'm going to go there anyway. Like, I think plant-based can have personality. I think everyone's playing it right down the fairway, very safe and plant-based.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Right. And so go there. Like you can test it, right? You can experiment in certain places, but like, to me, it's funny as I think about some of the things that I'm trying to be better at as a marketer. I'm actually about to go the exact opposite of one of the things I just told myself, which is I think clear almost always beats clever. And I think in my career, there's been times where I've chosen clever over clear. And this is the one time I'm like, everyone, no, like push clever, like have fun with plant-based.
Interesting.
Right? Like, I think it's time to don't just hit singles. Like, let's round second and third
Interesting.
and go for it. So I don't know if that maybe stretch a little bit and plant-based and play a little bit more. I
think Oatly does a fun job. I think some of the stuff Oatly is doing right now is really interesting.
It also, though, gets back to you, Nicole. Like, I feel like Oatly has a tone and a personality that they know of their values, and so it makes
100%.
it easier to sort of play, right? And so I think, Ryan, maybe some of it is identifying what might be different for your brand based on who you actually are, right? Who makes up the organization, where you have a founder story. Obviously, what's her personality, and how may it be more layered than, to Ryan's point, sort of the singles of, hey, we did this because we like organic kind of thing.
Yeah, I love it. Great advice.
I I could do this for an hour, Rick. We
Oh,
may
this
have
is
to have
fun.
you.
Absolutely.
Have to have you come back. Thank you for coming on. Give it up for Rick, guys. Thanks,
Woo, woo,
Rick.
woo, woo.
Thank you
Thanks,
for the
Rick.
opportunity.
Love it, man.
You
Thanks,
too. Have a
buddy.
great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
See you, man.
See you, Rick.
What an awesome way to kick this thing off. All right,
There we go.
let me get my guest on deck. All right. He is one of the main reasons that we started to spend as much time as we did in Chicago. And he was also one of the very first guests
Mhm.
that I had on season 2 of the Courageous podcast.
Mhm.
And he is no longer at Kraft Heinz.
The Z-Man.
The Z-Man.
Oh,
Can we
he was almost
Kevin
going to be my guest.
Zidron. Look, Kevin Zidron's coming in here right now.
Excellent. Hello.
Yeah,
Wouldn't it have been funny if we
yes.
both reached out to him? He'd be like, "Oh shit, who do I say no to?"
Zidron, you got to
right.
show your face.
Definitely right.
Zidron, you got to show your face.
There we go.
Yes.
Go.
Hey,
Yes.
Look, I miss this guy. I miss this guy.
Me
I love
too.
the view. You're working from home. I recognize that location. It's just
Oh,
you look.
it's home and it's great, Billy. It is
I
so
love it.
great.
I love it.
Kevin, we miss you, man. It's great to see you. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you all?
Oh,
We're solid.
great.
Doing
We're
great.
solid. We're
I've
happy
never
to
seen
see-
Nicole's background. Hold on.
Oh,
Um,
I'm in Ohio.
Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's a new background. Like,
Yes.
well,
All right,
No, at home for the holidays.
Kevin, in the spirit of doing this right, can you give your fancy title and what you do, and then also maybe how we all know each other?
yeah, absolutely. So I am currently vice president of strategy and business optimization at Nestle Health Sciences. So I've been at Health Science now a year and a half. Prior to that is when I met the Courageous Group when I was working at Kraft Heinz and had the ability to work on a few projects. I think we pulled off a minor miracle for a board presentation, which I think the countdown is still in reverse for us. But no, it's been great to meet you, Ryan, and then work with Billy and Nicole so closely over the last, I guess, a year and a half ago now.
When you say Nestle Health Sciences, did I get that right?
You got it.
What specifically are you doing over there?
Yep. So Nestle has been able to kind of get into the health and wellness space a little bit differently. So they've carved out their own business unit to focus specifically on vitamins, protein powders, collagen, which is what got me into the space. Really focus and put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, within health and wellness. So within their group, I lead their strategy and transformation work. So focus on the long-term strategy and activating that. And then a lot of transformational work, whether that's IT, whether that's go to market differently, whether that's sales capabilities, you name it. It's really focusing on how do we take the business from where it is today to a growth lens over the next 3 to 5 years.
I see a theme for some of our mystery guests. They had been at one place for quite some time and have now vaulted themselves into a new arena. And this is where my question to you, Kevin. And I think just so you know, and you have a choice, Kevin. I'm gonna ask a question, and then you can ask the next question if you want, or it'll go me. Then from the faith team, it'll go to the action team, then to the knowledge team. So the real question is, do you want Billy to ask the last question, which is dangerous, or would you like to ask the last question?
I want the last question.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
I need to pivot off of Billy. So like that's
that's a load in the deck. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I
Okay.
knew that was coming. All right. So when you leap from a place you know to a place you don't know, you now have no friends. You don't know where to turn to. You're like, you've got to like learn from day one. And you've got people reporting into you. There's a lot of fear for those people who don't know you. How do you go about like building rapport and building trust? Like what is your personal like onboarding process for those first, we'll call it 90 days?
it's a great question, and I feel like I've reinvented myself throughout my career because leaders have moved on, and you've had to make a different impression. And when I moved from Kraft Heinz to Nestle, what I promised myself is I would try my best to get out of the imposter syndrome that I've historically lived in. That I didn't belong, that I wasn't prepared for the next job, and really took it in stride to say, this is an organization that actively wanted me to come here. And as a result of that, they hired me for a reason. And I am that person that they hired. So I needed to just be myself and come in and do the things that I've always done as a leader, as a listener, as a follower. So I think that was number one, is just be true to myself, and what got me to the success that I had in previous roles. And then I think the second piece is really lean on the mentors that I've built, that whether that was at Kraft Heinz and folks that were still there or folks that had left. But it's not until you really sit down and look at your network that you realize, like, there's a lot of impactful people. I mean, you three are a great example. Like, I think I reached out to all three of you, and we tried to meet up in Chicago, as hard as that was, like, really early on, because, you know, it was just that pat on the back from some of those folks, like, hey, you doing all right? Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay if you're not. So I think those were the two biggest things, is just really staying true to who I was, and then making sure I kept those connections, because those connections weren't just Kraft Heinz connections; they were life connections that have carried me through.
Oh man, and I
I
remember one of
know.
those those little coffee talks that we had, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Are you good? Are you good over there?" And it wasn't that you weren't good, right? It's just
Yeah,
like it's all love. Like you just want your people to do well when they go to new places, and sometimes we're afraid to speak the truth because we don't know who to trust yet. So it makes total sense to me.
Kevin, I give you a lot of credit for the fact that you have always struck me as someone who, in a good way, has their emotions on their sleeves and isn't afraid to sort of have that vulnerability and be able to say, "Oh man, this thing," whether it was when we were working together at some of the stuff for Kraft Heinz or just in our personal one-on-one conversations. You're very real, and that is obviously one of the positive traits about you, but it's not a common trait. So, kudos to you on that.
That's what makes him so
Let the, re-
special.
let the record show that a Duke Blue Devil, you knew this was coming, guys,
Yeah,
gave
yeah,
a Carolina, a
yeah,
Tar Heel Blue, a compliment.
yeah. That's it. That's be the last one of the day. So
well, that
There's a
also got
limit.
through all of it, is like, if I ever needed normalcy, I knew I could just text Billy something random, and he'd come back and be like, "Well, Carolina sucks at this." Like, all right, the world's good.
uh-huh.
The world is good.
Yep. Yep. I will not call your players what the NC State coach called your players, though, over the last week. Did you hear about this?
It's terrible.
I know.
Like, it's the one
It
thing
is.
we can ban across, Billy. I appreciate
That don't back the pack. Don't back
Don't
the
back the
pack.
pack.
I love that you guys found common ground over
Yeah,
NC State. All right, Nicole, you're up.
I'm jumping in. Okay. I would like to know from Mr. Zidron, is is there something for you? Maybe it's an experience, I'll say, something that changed your life or changed your perspective in the last year.
Wow.
Maybe it was an experience, could be a person, it could be a book.
So I'm going to answer this in two ways. So, from a life perspective, my wife and I love to travel. Like, we don't have kids, we have a cat. And one of the things we really promised ourselves is, with this stage of life, like, we're going to take advantage of no kids. So we travel a lot. And we went to Greece this summer. And we had planned the trip and done everything. We did Athens and then Santorini. And the one promise we made, because it's middle of summer, was, we're not going to work. Like, that was the promise. And so, like, I told everyone at work, I'm not working. And they're like, bullshit, like, you're going to work, blah, blah, blah. It was the first time, I can honestly say, in probably 5 to 6 years, that for a week I didn't open my computer. And what I realized coming out of that is, one, like, my wife and I were totally present for each other for the first time, like, ever. And, like, this includes honeymoon and stuff. And for 10 days, it was just her and I, and going on adventures and going on hikes and laying by the pool and reading, and, like, even silence was good. And I got back and nothing had blown up. And it was like this
Mhm.
realization, like, we all sit in this world, like, no matter what your title is or what response you think, like, if you leave, something's going to happen. And it was just this realization, like, it's okay. Like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? And I think it was this eye-opening experience of, for the first time, like, took a step back, and it's totally fine to do that. And the second piece to that, to the add-on, is, like, then it showed my team coming back, it's okay to turn it off. And it was like an indirect consequence that really, I think from a leadership perspective, I've always said, oh, take your time, do as I say, not as I do. And it's like, that's kind of bad philosophy to live by. Like, how about
Mm-hmm.
you do what you do and lead by example? And I will tell you, like, from that point on, like, I think my team and I like had a whole different bond, because then it was like, we're off. If we're not doing emails at night, like, that's how we operated. But that simple experience, like, eye opening, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think too, it like from their perspective shows that you trust the team to do what they're supposed to do, and you don't need to check in on your vacation and ask about 5 million things. Like, no, I'm turning it off. You guys are good. You guys can handle it. I trust you. And I think there's so from that perspective too, it's win-win.
100%.
Love that answer,
awesome.
Kevin.
And I totally, I think Greece, great, like, plug for Greece. It's a fantastic place.
Visit Greece.
There you go.
This podcast is sponsored by.
Speaking of Europe, I do my little weekly dose of courage, goes out, Thursdays, not a promotion for that, followed by a promotion for Greece. But I see right away, like, which ones do well and which ones don't. Like, I'll see feedback comes, like, people will respond, which is cool. But actually, I also see, like, because Kellanova in Europe, I've spoken there, so a bunch of their people are on our list now. And my favorite response I get from them in the summertime is, I'm on summer break. This email will be deleted. If it's that important, I'll be back on this date. Email me then. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh my goodness, this
Who
is
does that?
amazing. How do we do
Have
this?
you
How do we get to this?
have you guys seen that meme that like shows the difference between like a European out of office? It's very similar to that, and then like someone in like the US, they're out of office. It's like, I'm heading in for surgery, but if you need anything, please call me. I'll answer, or like something so
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so interesting you say that, because I'm doing a lot more work globally now, and a lot of my contacts are in Switzerland. And I've been sending notes this week, and it's like out of office till January 18th, and I'm sitting here like, I'm like sweating bullets. Like, these guys got it right. Like, they're not doing it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they're enjoying their family. That's what we should be doing.
Funny.
Yeah.
All right, Billy, you're up, my man.
All right, cool. So now when I saw that it was you, I was going to ask you something about like Caleb Love and your general perspective on him, but I decided that probably only you and I would care about your response to that. So I know that you are a big runner. You've competed in a couple marathons. So my question to you is, how important is running to your daily or sort of weekly habits? And what are the things that you think about? And what do you do while on those longer runs?
Thank you for remembering, Billy. Like, that's a great memory.
Yeah.
So running is, outside of my like wife and what I spend time with her doing, like, my favorite thing. Like, it's interesting you asked this question, because this morning I was talking with my manager, and we're getting to know each other a little bit. And she's like, tell me about like your ways of working. You seem very structured. What do you do? I was like, look, between 5:30 and 7, don't even think about getting a hold of me, because I'm out running, and it's the one time in the day I don't look at my phone, I don't look at emails, I don't even think about it. So, like, just give me that hour and a half. And she's like, great, I respect the hell out of it, and move forward. And that's why I do it. Like, to me, it's less about staying like fit. It's more about mentally. It's just in a way for me to turn it off. And even as I've gotten older, like, I've gotten slower and just like kind of plod along a little bit more. But I listen to podcasts. I turn it off. I'm not calling anyone. I'm not texting anyone. I'm not even really thinking about work. I zone out half the time and forget what the podcast was about, honestly. But I come back and I feel great. It wakes me up in the morning. And I still run marathons, and part of it is like, I love the journey to the marathon. Like, the marathon day is fun and all, but like, I love getting up on a Saturday, going for a 20-miler, and coming back home and just relaxing, hanging out with my wife, and being like, okay, accomplished something today. It's awesome.
Cool.
Kind of felt like our board presentation was the marathon day.
It was, right? The process was so much better than the actual day.
Yeah, the journey. When you run, are you are you just a watch person with buds, or like, what's the deal?
I am watch, buds. I do carry a phone. my wonderful wife is always very nervous about me like getting lost or getting stolen or something crazy that she watches in like a Netflix
Stolen.
documentary.
Hey,
Stolen. Are there a lot
Lured
of
into a white van? What?
stolen?
Right.
like,
I'm like, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, you think I'm just gonna get picked up on the Lakeshore Drive? Like someone's gonna go on the lake? Like,
I can see old school, like the van pulls up and Blue comes and gets you, and you're gonna
yeah.
be back in a
So it
fraternity.
makes her feel better. I'm like, okay,
Ridiculous.
whatever. Yeah.
So
I
doesn't
like
that
that you use the word stolen. Like, I mean, like you're a hot commodity, Kevin. People are really
Right.
clamoring.
Like,
They're like, "Where's Kevin? I want to take him."
like, yeah, they're clamoring for this guy like
Yeah.
running like 9-minute miles all day. Like, what?
Your
I don't
organs,
understand.
your lungs are probably very valuable. Maybe that's
Something.
it. Maybe
Yeah,
that
maybe
could be.
that's
They
it.
could harvest your organs.
This has gone in an interesting direction.
Did you
All right,
expect anything
Kevin.
less?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Kev, you get the last word here. So what's your question for the group?
Is it a group question or are they individual questions? Like, what's the style here?
Group, I guess, and we'll all answer it. Or individually answer
Okay.
it.
Unless you have like a really pointed question that you want to get to, ask one of us. I think you could.
We might end that on that, but I think a group question. I think we're closing out the year. I feel every year there's a lot on everyone's plates and more. How do you guys go about just resetting? Right? Like we always think January 1st, new year, new you, reset. How do each of you reset your lives, whether that's work, personal, or whatever, to make sure you're set up for the best you in the next year?
Can I take the first cut at this?
Yeah,
Go for it.
he's your guest.
This is an easy one. This is an easy one. We play Wavelength.
Yes. This podcast is also sponsored by Wavelength.
Wavelength.
Am I
Greatest board
wrong?
game ever.
All right, so there's code there. So Wavelength is an awesome game, and we do play, and there'll be a text that goes around, I'd say twice a week, saying, Wavelength, if you haven't played this game, it's an awesome new game, by the way. You can play digitally, you can play on your phone. But that's not really the answer. The answer is, I think because we all share the same values to some extent, and we work hard and we have a lot of fun. And I think you can't just work hard and then work hard and then work hard and then like bake in a little bit of fun. It has to almost be like DNA. And so we laugh a lot and we work hard. And that's kind of how it starts. Is it can't just be these long marathon runs of just work. There has to be joy baked into it. Now, I know we don't have video here for a show like this, but Nicole's back home. I'm sure she left. She didn't ask me, but not that she needed to. She's just there. Nobody cares where people work from with our company. If that's where she needs to be, then that's where she needs to be. We're closed all next week as a business. We also might be very quiet the first week of January because my wife, I think, wants to go to the mountains, which is really good news.
You were whispering that.
I know.
I know. Breaking news as we go along here. So I think it's that. I think it really I know a lot of people don't get the opportunity to choose who they work with, but when you do get the opportunity, there has to be some alignment on logic, on values, and I think that's where the three of us we play a lot. Am I off on this?
No, I like
Spot
it.
on.
Like it. Can I go a little bit too? Like personal reset too? Where I would add to that, or at least some of the habits that I've tried to get into. One is setting some goals, and I do it now with my kids, where we sit down and we review. Okay, here was our goal for 2023. How did we do? And it's not the only time we talk about it, right? There are some things, whether it's academics or sports or just behavior, especially with my kids, but with myself, it's usually what are 2 or 3 things that I want to see improve in my life, and I'll use that broader term. And so I remember talking to my older sister about this at one point when I first finished school. Why is New Year such a big deal? Why is it such a big thing? And if you think about going through school, there's more logical breaks where you start to say, okay, I'm starting another grade. I'm in this grade. I'm thinking about, okay, here's how I did this year. Whereas in adulthood, you don't have those breaks. And so since that conversation with my sister back in 2000 something, I've started to take a little more seriously the idea of there's something symbolic about a year ending. what did it look like? Let me spend an hour reflecting on my own about how it was, and then think about what is progress that I hope to make in the coming year. So again, it's not overly overbearing, but it's a little bit of taking that pause and that time to reflect back. And I think it helps make January, for me, has always been a little bit of a better month. Love that.
I feel like
want some
my
homework?
in oh
Hmm?
me or
No,
oh
you
Kevin.
go. I'll yeah, I'm gonna give Kevin homework.
Phil, save the homework. I was just going to say, I feel like this never happens because Billy and I always happen to agree on many things. But I feel like my answer is very opposite of Billy's in that
There we
I
go.
am one of these people who is like not a set goals in the new year type of person. I think every day is an opportunity to wake up and change how you do something. And so that's kind of how I like generally approach life. And like I feel like a year seems to be like an arbitrary milestone. I'm like, I can do this anytime. But to that end, what I do love to do is, at the beginning of the year, take an approach of like, what do I want to stop doing? What do I want to start doing? And what do I want to do more of? And so when I think about it from that perspective, it kind of it's a bit more of like a macro view. And I usually especially love whatever my answer is for the what am I going to stop doing? Because a lot of times like you don't necessarily think about it until I like set some time aside and think about it. And I'm like, wow, interesting. Like I don't think I would have realized maybe I want to stop doing that if I didn't really set aside the time to realize like, hey, this isn't really serving me anymore. Like I need to stop doing this, for my personal growth or what have you. So that's my nugget.
Love it.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the triggers camp. I like triggers. So I like that New Year as a reset, and I always do a mind resolution, a body resolution, and a spirit resolution. And it might be
Oh,
interesting to see what yours would be for that, or all of ours really. But like to me, it's like what's good for my mentality. Okay, body healthy is everything, right? And then like spirit, what lights me up on the inside? Like what do I absolutely have to do? Like my spirit resolution, different than spirit animal. I feel like Billy wants to make a spirit animal joke. My
no, I was gonna
spirit
make a
resolution.
wavelength. I was gonna make a wavelength joke, and just
Okay.
that's what feeds your spirit. Is just playing more
Okay.
wavelength. Anyway.
So like my spirit resolution this past year was to finish Opposite Town, which is my kids book, and we have two books under the tree, that one for the kids to open up, and it's the first edition of it. So they're
Very
gonna
cool.
flip out, which is cool. We gotta figure out the rest and like where are we gonna promote this and all that. But Unwelcome to Opposite Town is the official title, right? Because everything is opposite. So
There we go.
all right, man. Kevin, it's so good to see you. I miss the drawn time. Don't you guys miss the
Yeah.
drawn time?
I
Let's make it a
know.
regular occurrence.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Done.
Done.
I'm sure, Kevin, with with college basketball getting back up and going, will be some text back and forth between at least you and I to chat about the successes of Tobacco Road.
I mean, I did have a question teed up that I texted Berman, but this took a whole different. We've been having such a good time. I didn't want to derail it. So
Wait,
Okay, that's
in
good.
the spirit of what he said was,
In the
You're
spirit
right.
of this can get cut later when
I kid you not. He said, "Can I ask Billy how courageous it was on a scale of 1 to 10 for UNC to come into Cameron and beat Coach K in his last home game after he invited hundreds of alumni?" Yeah,
How courageous was it of Carolina? Yeah, excellent. Well done. They did. They will have that over us for the rest of time. That is for sure.
could lose the next 100. I still got that one in the Final Four. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean, and the Final Four. Did you see how he snuck that one in there? That's true
I
too.
mean, we killed Coach K.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You have the shirts, don't you? I feel like you're one of those people that bought the Killed Coach K shirts.
I do, where he's rolled over in the grave. I got it. I chose not to wear it. I chose not to wear it.
Oh, that was kind
Did you think about wearing it today?
Actually, so right before this, I was upstairs doing something. I was like, I could put this on, but it's kind of mean. It's the holiday season.
that you didn't.
Nice.
There you go. I'm glad. I appreciate that.
Way to stay on the nice side versus the naughty side, Kevin. We appreciate that, man.
My goal,
all right, man. Thanks for joining us, Kevin Zidron, everybody. Yeah,
Thank you,
Kevin. Love it. Love it.
See you, man.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Have a great holiday.
Thanks, you too.
You too.
Love it.
Guys,
Love
we're
it.
2
Good
for
one.
2. We are
Good one.
2 for 2.
This is fun.
Nailing it. Nailing it.
Okay. Are we ready for our next guest?
Yeah.
We sure are.
You can often find our next guest coming up with the next operational strategy for marketing and communications teams. They have spent about a decade working on community and content and project management with everyone from tech startups to authors to app developers and marketing and communications teams. They have helped multiple organizations bring their podcasts to life from concept to launch. Any ideas yet? They've spent a decade advocating for vulnerable youth in the foster care system, and this person has keynoted
yes.
at conferences
I know
speaking
who
on
this
the
is.
gift of grief and the honor of heartbreak in parenting for a season. Billy?
I think I know. I think I know.
Does
Will
Ryan know?
will we be playing Wavelength during this?
I don't have a clue.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna say our guest also firmly believes this will throw you off, that their skills were built during their many years of lifeguarding, where they learn the skill of scanning and anticipating problems before they arise, both above and below the surface.
I mean, it's Kimberly, right?
Yes.
Kimberly, right? That's why I asked, are we gonna play Wavelength? That's why I asked, are we gonna play
Oh, I
Wavelength
love this.
during this?
Yes.
The other giveaway was she's a presenter because she's keynoted things because of during our offsite when Kimberly said, you all know that I have a life before Courageous, like I've keynoted before. So yes, I love it.
Listening, Kimberly is a huge part of Courageous and manages all of the day-to-day operations, and she is just a beast on the behind the scenes that everyone doesn't get to see. So I thought it would be a lovely opportunity to bring her to the forefront at this episode of the Courageous podcast.
Love it. Yes, surprise guest.
Surprise
I also
guest.
I enjoy her IT capabilities that she was able to stay off camera and enter surprise guests because there we go. There we go. Look at this.
Yes.
There we go.
The surprise guest is Kimberly. Billy is the
bummer.
winner.
Dun, dun, dun,
And Billy guessed it.
I got it,
Yay!
Kimberly. I got
Let
it.
it be
I got
known that we stumped Ryan Berman.
I was like, I don't know who it is. I don't know.
I don't believe you, but okay.
I don't know who it was. Not a clue.
Yes, that's exactly how it happened.
I nailed
Hello.
it, Kimberly. I knew for a couple of markers, one of which is the fact that as a lifeguard, you met your husband lifeguarding. I love the story of your lifeguarding training and how it helped you spot problems. It's awesome.
It really did. I contribute so much of my, I'm going to say success in my career of troubleshooting and being able to see problems coming from a mile away from the time that I sat on my lifeguard tower.
I don't know if Ryan was a very good swimmer, but at camp I was on the aquatic staff at one point, so I also was a lifeguard. So Ryan was not. Ryan only stayed on the land. He wasn't very good at the water stuff. So,
I love that you don't even know. You just like made an assumption. You're like, I'm guessing that Ryan wasn't a good swimmer.
I know. I know.
You know I wasn't a good swimmer? I'm confused.
I know you were a fine swimmer, Ryan, but you were not on the aquatic staff. And at no point did you have to do a systematic search
the
of the
athletics
lake.
area. I basically just stayed on the basketball court, soccer field. But let's get back to our surprise guest. Well done.
Yes.
Thanks.
Hello, guys.
Happy to have you. We're so happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
How this is rolling, Kimberly, is we're going to each of us are going to ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm going to start first, and then we're going to kind of flip it in our knowledge, faith, action. So I'll ask you a question. Billy will ask you the question. Next question is knowledge. Ryan will ask you another question as our faith lead. And we will, because the other two guests have gone this way, we're just going to roll and do it this way with you. We will save your question for us until the very end.
Great. I'm excited.
Sound cool?
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay. I'm leading, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be you. Go for it.
I asked somebody else this question today, and I like it. So I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
If you could teach the world, everyone in the world, one thing, what would you teach them? It can be a skill, it could be an idea, it could be a concept. But what do you feel like everyone needs to know, learn?
That's a great question. I think everyone needs to know that we cannot make assumptions. And this is both in our personal and our professional lives. I think the minute we start making assumptions, we ruin so many opportunities, whether it's for relationship, well, mostly for relationship, I would say. But once again, that transcends our in work, out of work. You lose out on so much when you think you know what it's like to be in somebody else's shoes.
Mm-hmm. It's a fabulous answer.
Cool. Very cool.
It is one of my favorite. Go ahead, Billy.
I was going to say it's very interesting how both of the responses to the question, I agree with you, Nicole. It's a great question to ask, but it has done to the importance of getting to know someone beyond the surface level and being able to be, building that knowledge, right? But also that relationship. And then likely it's going to relate to like how you end up working together, living together, being a friend, interacting together. And it begins with this idea of forging something deeper than that first thing you see them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And how so many times we operate based on assumptions, which you waste essentially, potentially a bunch of time versus if you just would have taken a second to better understand from the get-go instead of making the assumption, like you save time. You can be a lot more efficient. Yeah. And the other thing I will say is that it is one of my favorite of the 4 agreements. And if you've never read the book, The 4 Agreements, definitely do, because that is one of the 4.
Awesome. I'm up, right? My question time. Right? All right, Kimberly. We have referenced a couple times that you have done keynotes and presented and in a need to understand deeper and not have assumptions. Tell us all a little bit about what you presented and why people would bring you in to present to large groups.
Well, I spent the last decade of my life on a journey that I honestly did not anticipate being on, and that is being very well connected with the Los Angeles County foster system. And that's actually how my family has been built, is all 4, sometimes 5 of my children have come to me through the Los Angeles County foster system. And what I realized along that journey is that there's a lot of families that actually do look like mine in Los Angeles County, but don't have community. And so that would be families that maybe have been built through brokenness in a really untraditional way and might be navigating pretty unique circumstances, whether it is needing to become more trauma informed or just needing to pick up the phone and navigate how to get somebody enrolled in a school last minute when they just move into your house and you don't think that this local school is going to be a good fit for them, or how to advocate for unique types of therapies that maybe are needed due to a child's trauma. And so I think people have brought me in just based on my experience of walking through being a foster parent myself, and then also coming alongside vulnerable youth and forming relationships with them and just giving them a safe place to be heard. And so I've had the opportunity to stand on stages and talk to other parents, specifically moms. That's kind of my sweet spot, who wake up every day and say, I'm not a savior here, but I'm willing. And I'm willing to stand in the gap and kind of get messy in these really, really broken systems. If you want to talk about a broken system, Los Angeles County foster care, it's broken. And so to have people in community with you who are also walking through those same unique experiences changes the entire journey, because you're not doing it alone anymore. So I think the opportunities I've had on stages and on podcasts have just been to say, hey, I'm on this journey too, and I'm not perfect, and I'm learning. Ultimately, I want to provide a safe place for vulnerable youth, which I feel like I've done a good job at, and I'm still learning. But I've been able to just kind of jump in alongside other people and say, you're not alone. Here's a safe place to talk about these unique challenges.
Very cool.
You use my favorite word, and I think people would think my favorite word is courage, right? As a guy that's with a beanie on that says courageous, but my favorite word is willing by far. It's like it's not close. 'Cause I think to be willing, and both of your answers to me feel similar, right? Like don't assume, right? Be open minded, be willing to listen to someone else's perspective or their story. But I also like the double meaning of willing. Like when you commit to something, have the will to see something through. And Kimberly,
I think,
when I
sorry, Ryan, just to build on that real quick, like I think what's amazing about that word or that idea is it gets into you have to put effort in, and but you also at the same time, in a weird way, are relinquishing some control, right? And I don't know if that's at least my reaction to hearing that word and that idea, just what Kimberly was talking about there about, you don't have to say you have all the answers and you're saving the situation, but you have to be willing to give it a try and walk in with that sort of open mind.
gotta tell you, I'm exhausted trying to try to figure out how you manage
Oh yeah.
your house. It is like, are you tired?
I'm really tired. I'm not even gonna lie.
all the time.
She says with the biggest smile on her face.
I'm really tired, and that's okay. I think being tired is okay. But look, I've been gifted with a really, really unique opportunity, and that is to be well acquainted with the fact that our time is not guaranteed. So, through my experiences of being a foster parent, this is where I learned this. I would be a parent for a season. So I would have somebody in my home. I would get to make an impact on their life for whatever time I was blessed with. And that time could be cut short without knowledge. It has been to me. I've had kids that have been here and then I get a phone call, "Hey, we're coming to pick them up." My time with them is over. And so I think more than ever, like being tired is okay. But I'm going to be tired. But I want to know that what I'm doing matters and that I'm making the most of the time that I have. That doesn't mean showing up um, with full energy and always, always being ready to do things at 100%. Like I said, it just means to be willing and to say that today matters. So I'm going to show up to the best of my abilities that I can today, and then we'll go from there.
All right, am I up on questions?
You're up.
Yeah.
All right. So again, Nicole hit this already, but Kimberly is our Swiss Army knife. Like she is our versatile secret weapon. And I think I think we're learning, the audience is learning you do a lot of things, including keynote speak. But I want to talk about how you came to us, if you're cool with it.
Absolutely.
Because I had a chance to meet Kimberly, gosh, maybe how long has it been? 2 years now?
I think about 2 years.
Right. And as you think about in life, people are always on the way to what they actually want to do and where they want to go. And it's like, hey, I want to get to I don't like this line, but it's like I'm solving the problems in the way of the problems I want to solve. Right. And when we met, I felt like you had a big problem and you had a lot of courage to leave your last life to leap and to join us. Take us back on that feeling, and even like the conversations you might have had with your husband, all of the above. Can you share a little bit of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did get stuck in a cycle of just doing work for the sake of needing a paycheck. And part of that, I'm going to be honest, is I'm a mom. And so I did need to work in a way that made sense for our family. But where I got discouraged was that in my work life, I felt very underutilized. So I had been working as a virtual assistant for years, multiple years. And I learned a lot along the way. I supported so many small businesses and teams, and I got to be backstage for some really cool, just periods of growth for different companies. But I always felt like I could do more and wanted to feel like I was part of a team that really valued the what I've learned over the years of being backstage with all these companies. And so when we met, I loved what you were doing. That's the biggest thing, is it just felt right. I believed in it. And when you believe in something, it motivates you to just work hard through the mundane tasks. And so we got the opportunity to work together closer. And that was when I was able to break away from kind of the world of virtual assisting and jump more into just really helping teams meet their goals. So that's what I've been working on this last year, is working closely with just a few teams to help them meet their goals and to make sure that we're all running in the same direction. And that's what we've been doing.
All right, I'm going to go there. Okay.
Go there.
And it's a two-parter. First, it's on you, and then it's on all of us. So, first of all, not only did she leap, she had to buy herself out. That's how much she believed in what we were doing. She had to literally like break free from her last life. I hope I'm not breaking any NDAs, by the way. But like, so I'll take the heat on that. So like, I think that is courage. Like you bet on yourself. You literally bet on yourself. And it is a full stop, but it's the second part. I know, and this is probably not going to be a surprise to the guy that runs the feel side, which is the belief side. I'm not good with transactional people. Like it's almost like Monopoly, and we're not passing go unless I know you believe. And Nicole, when you came on board too, that was like, it's because I knew you believe. Like I knew you believed in something more, and you like the rest of the conversation to me doesn't matter. Like I don't care how talented you are. I don't care. Like that all goes out the window if we first don't believe or buy in that we can actually like do this and grow. So I don't know. It was so cool. I wanted them to know that you literally bet on yourself. Are you happy with the choice now?
I'm really happy. I think that's actually one of the first times in my life where I decided that I want to be happy in the work that I'm doing professionally, in the work that I'm doing. You know, we spend a lot of time on our computers, and if we're doing so without purpose, it's really hard to go to sleep at night. It's really hard. And so I think one of the things about being on this team that I've loved, and we'll have open and honest conversations, is like, why are we doing what we're doing?
Yep.
You know?
Well, obviously for wavelength is like we already brought it up with another guest. That's what you know. Right. It'll be a nice little Easter egg for when you go back and listen to the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, Ryan,
love that you had the belief. Oh.
Yeah, you should say your comment. Go ahead, Nicole.
I was just gonna say I love and admire, Kimberly, that you got to the point where you believed and wanted to bet on yourself, because that's not always an easy thing to do. I mean, it may seem like it is, but it's challenging. I think it does take courage to be like, no, this is what I need. I'm important and I value myself enough to say that this is what I need. And I think that was my even first you know, experience with you. I had the thought, I'm like, she is so much more than a virtual assistant, right? Because that's kind of, I think, maybe even how I was introduced. I was like, oh, okay, Kimberly came in as a virtual assistant. I'm like, no, and this is not, I'm not knocking a virtual assistant by any means. But like I could immediately tell
me because you made it sound
no.
like I interpreted
No. But I could tell right away you are so smart, and the way that you approach things is so thoughtful and so thorough, and you care. You know, you take time to consider things, to consider possibilities, come up with solutions, and you know you're such a valuable part of this team, and we're so happy to have you here. So
thank you.
that's all.
Yeah.
Amen to that. I'm gonna just add a little something that maybe take it a little bit of a different path. Ryan, you mentioned this idea of transaction. And I think, again, Kimberly, that's probably how you felt a little bit, is that everything was transactional with, okay, I'm going to work X hours and get paid X, Y, Z to be able to do a transaction. And I think when we think about marketing, when we think about working with people that you are on your team or your coworkers or what have you, we almost have so many transactions in our everyday, right? And Amazon makes it super easy, and Starbucks makes it easy, and like whatever, right? This idea of things that are routine. but what matters are things that are not that. And I think the more we can fill our days and our lives with things that aren't a transaction, then we can get to a place where we feel that belief that you're talking about there, Ryan. We feel like, okay, yeah, and like you're saying, Kimberly, I'm making a bit of a difference because this isn't a transaction, this is an interaction, this is a a connection or whatever.
Right. Well, and I think when you're on a team with people that care, that truly care, it becomes contagious. Caring becomes contagious.
Yep.
I think when you're on a team that doesn't value the work that they're doing, that too is contagious. And so I think that's been really refreshing since joining this team, is that I think that we do care enough to challenge each other even through disagreement. And being willing to just come to the table and work through it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even when Nicole and I
Amen.
agree all the time.
Even when we don't get put in the right part of the spectrum on wavelength and we get on the total opposite end, we work through it.
But remember, there was one point in this podcast where we did disagree, and I felt like I had to call it out.
Yeah.
All right, Kimberly, you get the last question.
All right. Well, this has been so fun. So thank you guys. I really feel loved to be included here. When people think about their work that they've done with you this year, individually and as a courageous team, how do you hope that they feel about the work that you guys have done together?
Is it one word or can it be a?
No, I just want to know what does success look like there in the way that people...
I like the idea that, like, what do they feel? What do they feel after working with us? What do we want them to do?
I'm going to go with, there's a lot of things, but for some reason, the very first word that came into my mind was challenged. And I'll kind of say, like, and I think this is part of what I feel. And I think also in combination with things that our clients and our partners have said to us. But, it's in our name and we are courageous. But I think what I love about our team and the way that we approach business challenges is that we aren't afraid. We aren't afraid to have really hard conversations, and we aren't afraid to challenge people, even if it is tough and even if it's uncomfortable. And so I think our partners appreciate that we're willing to challenge them. And I think that's coupled by, the fact that we have a really solid foundation of relationship that we work really hard at with them. And so they trust us, they value our opinion. We are often friends. And so I think it also comes from this lens of, like, we care, right? We care about you. We care about you enough to say, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do it that way, or maybe you should think about this differently. And so I think that there's a lot of value in that. And so challenged is going to be my word.
I don't think I have one word, or I think it's hard to articulate in one word, but what I hope is when they look back at the work that we did with them, that it feels like it's unexpected how it showed up, but at the same time, it also feels like it has a deep knowledge guy. But they know that it's right. They know that it's what it should have been. So there's this balance between, I wouldn't have put it that way, I wouldn't have visualized it that way, I wouldn't have thought this is what the experience would be, but yeah, it's like something that we get on a sort of deeper level. And if that's an interaction, or if that's a full-blown experience, or if that's a just even a bit of a conversation, hopefully that's the feeling that they have of, like, I didn't think I was going to go here, but I did. And wow, but now that I know something more about myself, or know something more about our brand or our organization because we went here.
I feel like we have, this is like a very Billy thing to say, I'm about to say. Like, there's almost like two archetypes of clients. And I think the feeling is different depending on the type. So I think when you have like one sector of client that there's immense trust, and they are courageous, I think they feel energized. They just feel energized, and it's like a shared energy, right, to move forward. And I think we have another type of client that I think it's more fear based, unfortunately. Like as much as we want them to be courageous, there's still fear. And I think the outcome, the feeling is peace of mind for that group. I'll take energized any day. Like the room feels energized, they're ready to go. But I also think there's a peace of mind when companies work with us that we do deliver, and there's calm. It's funny to say that, right? But it's like they deliver peace of mind and a calm feeling for one side, and the other side's like leaning forward, energized, they're ready to go, which of course is a great place to be. But I'm just trying to keep it real that those are probably the two different worlds we play in. As much as we wish everyone was leaning more courageous and energized, those are the two my two words.
Ryan, I love that you said that feeling of calm, because one of my mind went to relief, just a feeling of like you trust a partner so much that you're like, here's my problem, here's my challenge. I trust you. I trust you and your team to help us. And so like there's a huge sense of relief in that, from our partner side, knowing that like, hey, these guys got it. Like they'll knock it out of the park. Love that.
Kimberly, we love you.
I love
Also,
you
can we
guys.
talk about the fact that Ryan has a chip clip on his finger? Because that's
What is happening?
This is like my fidgety me, fidgety
Love it.
away. Guys, give it up for Kimberly.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Great
Thanks for
guest,
joining
Nicole.
us.
Great
Surprise
job.
guest.
yes.
Great
Thanks for
job.
being our guest.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Love it.
Bye,
Thanks for
Kimberly.
being here. Bye.
That was awesome.
I would say that was awesome. I would say that was a good first pass trilogy here, right, for the pod. And I think for the audience, let's acknowledge that this is messy, right? Like it's in fact there'll be like a little bit editing, but I think we should keep a lot of the messy in, frankly,
Yeah.
because we're asking people to keep it real. I think we should end with one question, and I always like it's almost like, hey audience, if you've made it this far, which is not a small thing, right? Like
Yeah.
let's give some props. If people have actually listened all the
Give a
way
big
through and
thank
you're
you.
still here, then they're clearly into this conversation. So let's take us home. As you think about the one thing you took away from 2023, what's your one takeaway on the year? And then what are you looking forward to in 2024? Give me one for each. Start with our knowledge lead.
The first question is, what did we take from 2023 and what are we looking forward to for 24, right?
Yes.
I think for what I've taken from 23 is the idea of patience. And this is as much personal and her being a parent with my kids and with my own stuff, right? But the idea that I've done a lot in 2023 and but I also feel like I could have done more in all those camps, but I need to give myself permission to let time play out. So that's sort of my takeaway from 23. In terms of what I'm looking forward to in 24, I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. That's not going away. That's always going to be the case. I think since the pandemic, that made us hyper aware of the fact that a lot of stuff could go down that we don't know. And like you were saying earlier, Ryan, there are two wars, and we've got an election coming up in this country, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the economy, interest rates, recession, blah, blah, blah. So as there's so much uncertainty, you've got to know what you know. And so how can you continue to sort of know yourself and know what you do? And the more you can dig into that, that's the only thing that you're going to be able to sort of be secure on in a world of complete uncertainty, because there's going to be that from 24 and through 25 and 26. So I would say patience and sort of knowing yourself in a world of complete uncertainty.
Love it.
Mhm.
Nicole.
Oh, these are hard questions. I think my biggest takeaway from 2023 is, for me, is learning how to get out of my own way. And that really can show up in every area of my life. And um, I think just realizing and putting certain things into place and learning new practices and getting rid of, some old belief systems maybe, that are kind of stopping me in my tracks and in moving forward in some areas. And so I think this was kind of like jumping into the what am I really looking forward to in 24, because I think 23 for me was a year of a lot of reflection, and I think 24 is really starting to be, I think, a year of movement and change and growth, and in that, what I'm really looking forward to is continuing some of the work I'm currently starting in identifying my own core values and what lights me up and what really inspires me. And I think that's an exciting thing for me, that I've just started to work on, and I'm interested to see how it's going to play out in 24, and especially as we move forward as a team, as a courageous team. We're really, I think, honing in on what makes us special. I think we've always known, but I think we were really honing in on it, and that's really exciting. And seeing what's in store for us and how we continue to shine as a team, I think is going to be really exciting for me to see. So
Yeah, I love that. And it's funny. I think about my answers on this. There's, Billy, your take on patience. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is like we're slow cooking. Slow cooked is always good, right? But
low and slow.
but I feel like when I started this in 2019, I didn't know what it was going to be. I just knew that I felt like there was a need for this and for courage, and there was people who were stuck and they wanted to get ahead, they didn't know how, or there was a hard conversation to have. And I I'll use Nicole. I'll use a line that sometimes I use in a keynote to describe a different generation, but I think it's us too. It's like I think what I learned in 2023 is that you can have your cake, you can eat it too, and the cake can be gluten free and it can taste great. And I think that's really what I feel about our team. Like I feel like we all trust each other. We can say anything to each other. We can challenge each other. We make each other better. I'm having so much more fun now than I was in 2019. I love 2019. I just think the multiplier is when you find your tribe and your raft mates, that good things can come of it. And I almost feel sad, right? Because for companies that don't have that, where politics went out or bureaucracy wins out, and I think that's sort of that's the bleed into 2024, right? It's like I think our job, courage and being courageous, is still like sometimes a ruse to just keeping it real and like being more human and being more honest and saying the thing and feeling like you can safely say the thing you need to say. And so I also agree, Nicole, with you. I feel like we're hitting our stride, and I love our positioning on missions and on summits and just trying to build really good teams and unlock those teams. So pretty pumped up about where we're going, and even as some of the at bats we're getting now, which is cool. It's cool to see. It's hard not to like validate yourself from other brands you've worked with and borrow some of that equity. But the conversations that we are having, it's cool to see that you had this hunch and there is this need. And so 2024 to me, it's all about, all right, let's go. Billy likes to say, let's go, Billy. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, guys. I think this was a success. I think we'll have to do this at the end of next year, and might be a good barometer to see, like, all right, well, this is where we thought we'd be, and a year from now, what are we going to be talking about? But I love you both. Happy holidays. Nicole, don't put on that email that says you're going to delete all the emails. until January 8th or whatever. But
I will not.
have fun in Ohio, Billy. Stay warm on the East Coast. And, happy holidays.
And we'll see you guys on Wavelength.
I know. Seriously, are we gonna play now? I mean, like, I feel like we're like,
Well, of course. All right, bye everybody.
All right, see y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.